Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel Smiling Face with Smiling Eyes. I hope you are all doing great. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that can change your English learning journey. Today, I will explain how reading can improve your English fast. Many students and learners think that learning English is very hard. They feel scared to speak English. They feel confused while reading or listening. But let me tell you one important thing. English is not difficult if you learn it in the right way. If you want to speak English fluently, if you want to understand English movies, videos, and conversations, and if you want to learn new English words without stress, then this video is exactly for you. You don't need big books, heavy grammar, or expensive classes. You only need one simple habit: reading every day. Reading helps your brain understand English naturally. In this video, I am going to share 10 easy, useful, and powerful points. These 10 points will help you improve your English step by step. Even if you are a complete beginner, you can follow these points at your own speed, without pressure. So please watch this video till the end. Don't skip any part, because every point is important. 1. Reading improves your vocabulary. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English vocabulary. When you read English every day, you start learning new words automatically, without even trying too hard. You don't have to open a dictionary for every single word. Instead, you see words naturally in stories, articles, blogs, or even simple sentences, and slowly your brain starts understanding their meaning. The more you read, the more words you notice. Some words you will see again and again. When that happens, these words stay in your mind for a long time, and you remember them easily. Not only that, reading also shows you how to use these words correctly in a sentence. You learn which words go together, which words sound natural, and how to use them in your speaking and writing. This process makes your English strong, natural, and fluent. When your vocabulary is bigger, it is much easier to express your thoughts, understand English conversations, read articles, and write emails or messages confidently. So always remember this simple rule. The more you read, the more words you learn. And the more words you learn, the better your English becomes. Even 15 to 20 minutes of reading daily can make a huge difference in just a few weeks. Start with easy stories or articles, and slowly challenge yourself with more difficult texts. Reading is like planting seeds of words in your mind. Over time, they grow into a strong, confident English vocabulary. Point 2. Reading helps you understand sentence structure. One of the biggest benefits of reading is that it helps you understand how English sentences are made. When you read stories, articles, or even simple posts, you start noticing how words are arranged to make meaningful sentences. You learn where the subject goes, how verbs are used, how to connect ideas with words like and, but, or because, and how to form questions or negative sentences. This is very important because good sentence structure makes your English sound natural. When you understand how sentences are made, it becomes much easier to speak English correctly. You also start writing sentences that are clear and correct without worrying too much about grammar rules. Reading also shows you different ways to say the same thing. For example, one story might say she is very happy, while another says she feels overjoyed. By reading, you learn multiple ways to structure sentences and express ideas, which improves both your speaking and writing. So the more you read, the more your brain starts recognizing patterns in English sentences. Slowly, you don't need to think hard while speaking or writing. Your English becomes smooth and natural. In short, reading not only improves your vocabulary, but also teaches you the correct way to make sentences, which is the foundation of good English. 3. Reading improves your grammar naturally. Many people think that learning English grammar is difficult. They try to memorize rules, lists, and examples, but it often becomes boring and confusing. The good news is that reading can improve your grammar naturally, without you even realizing it. When you read stories, articles, or even simple posts, your brain starts noticing grammar patterns automatically. You see how sentences are formed, how verbs change with time, past, present, future, how adjectives and adverbs are used, and how punctuation works. The more you read, the more your brain remembers these patterns without studying them. For example, after reading for a few weeks, you will start using the correct tense, the right prepositions, and proper sentence structures without thinking too much. Reading also helps you avoid common grammar mistakes. When you see correct grammar repeatedly, your brain begins to recognize what is right and what is wrong. It's like learning by imitation. You see the correct way of writing and speaking, and slowly your own English improves. In short, you don't need to memorize long grammar rules. Just read regularly, and your grammar will improve naturally, step by step. This is one of the easiest and most effective ways to become confident in English. 4. Reading improves your spelling. One of the easiest ways to improve your spelling in English is through reading. When you read stories, articles, blogs, or even social media posts in English, you see words repeatedly. The more you see a word, the more your brain remembers its correct spelling automatically. For example, if you read the word beautiful many times in different sentences, you will start spelling it correctly without even thinking. This works for both simple words and difficult words. Over time, your brain creates a mental library of words and their spellings, which helps you write confidently. Reading also helps you recognize patterns in English words. You learn which letters are usually together, which sounds are common, and which words are tricky. This makes it much easier to avoid spelling mistakes in your writing. The best part is that you don't need to memorize or practice spelling separately. By just reading regularly, your spelling improves naturally. So, if you want to write correctly in English, make reading a daily habit. Remember, every word you read correctly is a step towards perfect spelling. 5. Reading improves your pronunciation. Reading doesn't just help you learn new words and grammar. It also improves your pronunciation if you do it the right way. When you read and listen at the same time, your brain starts learning how each word is pronounced correctly. For example, you can read a story or article while listening to its audio version. You see a word, hear it, and then your brain remembers how it sounds. This helps you speak English clearly, confidently, and naturally. Even if you don't have an audio, reading aloud by yourself is very helpful. When you read aloud, you practice the correct sounds, stress, and intonation of English words and sentences. Over time, your pronunciation becomes smoother, and you make fewer mistakes while speaking. The more you read and listen regularly, the more your brain matches the written word with the correct sound. Slowly, your English will sound more natural, like a native speaker. So remember, reading alone is good, but reading while listening or speaking aloud is even better. 6. Reading improves your confidence. Reading is not just about learning words, grammar, or pronunciation. It also builds your confidence in English. When you read regularly, you know more words, understand sentences better, and can express yourself more clearly. This gives you a natural confidence that shows when you speak, write, or even think in English. At first, speaking English can feel scary. You might hesitate, worry about mistakes, or feel nervous. But when you read every day, you start recognizing words and sentences that you can use in real life. You already know them from reading, so speaking becomes much easier. Reading also helps you learn correct sentence structures, grammar, and pronunciation, which makes you feel ready and confident to communicate. You won't be afraid of making mistakes because your brain has already seen the correct way in the text. Even reading for just 15 to 20 minutes a day can make a big difference. You start trusting yourself more and feel proud of your progress. Confidence grows naturally when you see your own improvement over time. So always remember, the more you read, the more confident you become in English. 7. Reading improves your thinking in English. One of the most powerful benefits of reading is that it helps you start thinking in English naturally. When you begin learning English, many people translate everything from their native language into English. This can make speaking and writing slow, confusing, or full of mistakes. But when you read regularly, your brain starts to recognize English words, phrases, and sentences automatically. Slowly, you stop translating in your head and begin thinking directly in English. For example, if you read a story about a boy playing football, after a while, you won't translate "the boy is playing football" from your language. You will just understand and imagine it in English, naturally and instantly. This is very important because thinking in English makes speaking and writing faster and more fluent. It also reduces mistakes because your brain is already used to English structures and words. The more you read, the more your mind adapts to English thinking patterns. Soon, reading, speaking, writing, and even listening in English will feel much easier. In short, reading trains your brain to live in English, not just learn it. 8. Reading improves your speaking skills. Reading is not just about learning words or grammar. It also helps you become a better speaker. When you read stories, articles, or conversations in English, you see how people express their ideas. This gives you ready-made sentences and ideas that you can use while speaking. Reading also teaches you how to connect ideas while speaking. You learn how to use words like because, but, and so. However, these small words make your speech smooth and natural. The more you read, the more confident you feel to express your thoughts clearly in English. Soon, speaking English becomes fun and easy, not scary. In short, good reading gives you vocabulary, sentence ideas, and confidence, all of which are essential for speaking English fluently. 9. Reading improves your writing skills. Reading doesn't just improve your speaking, it also makes you a better writer. When you read stories, articles, blogs, or even social media posts in English, you see how sentences are written, how ideas are organized, and how words are used. This gives you a clear idea of how to write correctly in English. For example, when you read emails, messages, or articles, you learn how to start and end a message politely, how to connect sentences clearly, how to express your ideas in a simple and easy way. Reading also teaches you different styles of writing. You learn formal writing for emails or letters, and casual writing for messages or social media posts. You also get inspiration for using better words and phrases, which makes your writing more interesting and professional. The more you read, the more your brain remembers correct sentence structures, grammar, and vocabulary for writing. Soon, writing emails, messages, posts, or even stories in English becomes easy, natural, and confident. So always remember, reading is like practicing writing without even writing. The more you read, the better your writing skills become over time. Point 10. Reading makes English learning easy and fun. One of the best things about reading is that it makes learning English easy and enjoyable. Many people think learning English is difficult, boring, or full of rules to memorize. But reading changes all of that. When you read stories, articles, blogs, or even simple posts, you don't feel like you're studying. Instead, you are enjoying the story, learning new ideas, and improving your English at the same time. For example, reading a story about adventures or daily life teaches you new words, sentence structures, grammar, and pronunciation without making it feel like hard work. Reading also keeps you curious and motivated. You want to know what happens next in a story or how a writer explains an idea. This curiosity makes learning fun and exciting. Even blogs, articles, or simple online posts are helpful. You learn modern words, phrases, and ways of expressing thoughts that are used in real life. Slowly, learning English becomes not just easy, but something you look forward to every day. So remember, reading is not only a way to improve your English, but also a fun and enjoyable habit. If you read regularly, English learning becomes natural, easy, and exciting, and you will love it.